Very important episode today, and the reason why, before I bring on my wonderful guest, the reason why I wanted to do today's episode is it was really inspired by the tragic news. I believe it was either, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the suicide death of Bollywood actor Sushant, and forgive me, I can't remember his full name. Sushant, let's see here, Sushant Singh Rajput. Yeah. So and I was very saddened by that. And you hear about this a lot in the entertainment industry, obviously, because that's what the media puts out there. But it made me think, how many people are really suffering in silence, and obviously this guy was suffering in silence as well, right? And I think depression, stress, anxiety, very serious topics and issues, and it's something that, and it's almost like something that most of us don't really want to talk about. I know I'm that way, right? Like, just myself, I don't, when I'm feeling down and depressed and stuff like that, I don't talk about it. I keep it to myself, and that's not healthy. So I wanted to bring someone on here who would be able to speak about this very important topic. And I know a lot of you are experiencing stress, anxiety, depression, you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure, especially in your job search, right? Because you're on the one side, you got bills to pay, you got rent, mortgage, expenses, and all this stuff. On the other side, you're dealing with, I need to get a job. Like, I need my job searches, I'm applying for stuff. This whole pandemic situation is here, much more competition out there. I'm not able to land myself a job. So I wanted to really address this topic, and I'm definitely going to keep it in relation to the job search. But my guest today will be providing you with tips, advice, and just strategies, not only for your work environment and for your job search, but even outside of it as well, right? Because look, depression, stress, anxiety, it's not like it only happens when you're at work or only happens when you're doing your job search. It happens outside. It happens all the time, because the lines are kind of blurred between work and life and everything else. So my guest today is the wonderful Soha Juneja. So she's tuning in all the way from India, folks. So I'm going to bring her online live shortly. And she's a happiness coach and a behavioral trainer, as well as a mental health advisor, right? And I'm going to bring her out right now so that I can officially introduce you to everyone. Soha, how's it going? Can you see me and hear me okay?
Hello, everyone. Namaste. I'm representing India. Thank you so much, Dean, for inviting me here for talking about the mental health with everybody. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm pleasure to have you on board, folks. Make sure you say hi to Soha in the comments and in the whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn. And Soha, before we get started, can you please give a brief introduction regarding yourself and who you are?
I'm Soha Juneja, and I'm a mental health advisor. I very strongly believe that one needs to be a part of supporting each other. As I said, I'm representing India, and I'm looking forward to helping people hand in hand, helping them explore the ideology of what India is all about. Also exploring about how do we go about our own self, our mental health, and coming out of depression. And apart from that, I'm a coach, also a happiness coach, which probably trains people to be happy and live their life once again. So coming out of the pandemic, I should congratulate everybody who's actually been struggling, the COVID-19, and still living their lives and believing in themselves and coming back and fighting it hard. So congratulations to everybody, and a very, very warm evening, on this Thursday. And thank you so much for giving me that audience and listening to me.
No worries, my pleasure, Soha, and thank you so much. And folks, just some background. So Soha and I myself, we actually connected over LinkedIn recently, and she took the initiative and reached out to me. She said, Dean, this is an area that I'm very passionate about, like mental health, depression, stress, anxiety. This is an area that's very important. And you know what, folks, I definitely agree with that. And you know what, I have shared my thoughts about this and how I personally deal with it, on LinkedIn. But I'm not an expert. My expertise is recruitment, job search tips, interview tips and that stuff. So I'm very pleased to have Soha in today. So folks, just before we get started, just some brief housekeeping stuff. So any questions you have in regards to dealing with stress, anxiety, depression, mental health, any questions whatsoever, feel free to put it in the comments. Now, that being said, I know this is a sensitive and maybe a private kind of a topic, right? So if you don't want to publicly put your comments, send me a private message on my LinkedIn. And I won't announce your name. I will not speak your name out, but I will read your question out. So later on, Soha can respond to your question. So keep that in mind, folks. So any questions you have, if you're comfortable putting in the public comments, certainly feel free to do so. But if not, send me a private message. And when we get to the Q&A part, I will get to your question. But I just won't announce your name or anything like that, right? All right. Without further ado, Soha, let's get right into this, because again, this is a very important matter to discuss. Now, for the benefit of educating the viewers, so firstly, can we establish like what do people mean when they talk about mental well-being and mental health? Can you please tell us about that?
Well, today's, I should actually be telling this to you very, very strongly that today, we all are very sensitive to what is happening around us. We have not
Mm,
been brought up in a way that we can fight back with a lot of courage. For a reason being that, we give every possible thing to our children, whatever they need. I mean, it's just whatever because we haven't got it, we probably supply the same to the children today. We feel like they should get
yeah.
everything what we haven't gotten. So in that bargain, we fail to prepare them to fail.
Mm, got
So
it.
the thing is, we always tell them that failing is not in your bucket list, and you should not be talking about the failure because failing is a big deal. And for that reason, I feel that a lot of people or a lot of us who are actually growing had not learned how to fight our battles, and that
Mm,
actually is leading to a lot of depression because there are a lot of things that we are expecting out of our life, and when the expectations are not fulfilled or they are not attended well, that's when actually it hits us bad. So I think depression can be heaviness in your chest, in your lungs,
mm,
where you're not able to breathe heavy, breathe right. It can be the irritability of small things because you feel that it's the things are not happening around the way you expect it to happen. It
right.
could be relationship issue. It could be work pressure. It could be oversleeping. It could be overeating. It could be overwhelming. So it's a mix, an amalgamation of all the feelings together. And the biggest one I feel is that when we fail to understand that these all things are absolutely normal to us. Yeah.
Hmm. Got it, got it. So from what you're saying, so it's not just one thing. It could be a variety of things, and it can be expressed in so many different ways. And again, work, personal life, romantic relationships, even friendships. I mean, it could be due to anything. So I completely understand what you're saying. Now,
Yes.
so I guess you kind of already covered, what causes people to feel depression and mental health issues. Now, going back to this unfortunate, suicide of this, by all appearances seems like a very young guy, coming out of Bollywood, Sushant. I mean, for those of us who see these people, right, these entertainers, maybe possibly wealthy people who still experience depression and stuff, like the first thing I think is, I mean, money doesn't guarantee you're going to be happy. And I mean, obviously, and he's obviously, he seems like a successful guy. I mean, and with that recent tragedy, Soha, like, and many people were shocked, right? Including, I've read some articles, people who even knew him were also shocked. And this
Uh-huh.
usually seems to be the case, that people get shocked when people, they result in suicide and this stuff. Why is it that we don't notice when people are going through depression and mental health? Is it just that we're not noticing, we're not being aware, or like, why is this, why do such people who are suffering, like, why do they go unnoticed?
Well, I feel like, it's very, very inevitable to actually notice these people because they behave very different when they are
Mm,
depressed. But the only concern with us is like we are so much busy with our own world, with our own
mm,
self, that we stopped and we forgot serving others. The thing is like we are so much busy in our own world and problems that we do not want to look into anybody else's problems. So I have
mm.
noticed that Sushant Singh Rajput also was undergoing loneliness. He was very
Ah.
much alone. He was actually, posting time and again that he was missing his mother, and he's become very lonely. Though he had his friends around, and yes, of course, the corona had played also a very very major role in many people's lives, and this time it's just not about the pandemic, but I think the corona and the depression itself is quite pandemic now. And
Mm.
the thing is, Sushant also was going through the same. Now, when it comes to your point that we do not notice that people are suffering, it is only because of our due negligence, or maybe that we are so much occupied within ourselves and our lives that we forget people around us.
Yeah.
So I just have noticed a lot of people coming across to you and saying, "Hey, how are you doing, dude?" And that's the last thing they would
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
about. So I have hardly seen anybody coming across to you, sitting with you, sipping a cup of coffee, and asking you, "Are you okay? Is everything okay with you? Can I hear you out? Is there something that I could do about it?" So it's very,
Mm.
very rare that you actually see that because nowadays it's all about yourself, but nothing about others.
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand.
So
And do you
we
think
fail
so?
to
Like,
notice.
yeah, do people do? I don't like. I think. I mean, I don't think anyone does that intentionally. It's simply that I think most people have their own problems. to
Absolutely,
deal with.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, nobody is intentional. We
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
are living our lives, and we are really striving very hard to, reach that success quotient. As you said, that Sushant was very much successful, but
Mm,
unfortunately, he was not that happy. And happiness leads you to success, and success doesn't lead you to happiness. So we are
mm,
forgetting that time and again. We are maybe this is because of the kind of environment we are living in. Maybe because the people around us are so much competitive. We are all running in a rat race where we are not so much focusing on somebody else's life, because I feel very strongly, though we are not doing it in purpose, but neither we are contributing anything in purpose.
right. Right. Absolutely. So yeah, I totally get that. And we just have looks like the viewers are really enjoying the discussion so far. Nikhil
Okay,
says, just some feedback from Nikhil says, "Hello, Dean and Soha. Good to see you. This session is so important in these strange and unpredictable times." Thanks. Yeah, absolutely, Nikhil. Definitely a
thank
very
you so
important
much.
topic. Yeah, and
Thank
thanks
you,
for
Nick.
your feedback. Thanks for your feedback, Nikhil. Navia, I
Appreciate
know
it,
you
and
have.
it means a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, Navia, I do see you have a question, so Navia. So I'm not forgetting your question. I will get to it when we get to the Q&A part. We have Niraj Paul who says that they are watching live, so that's awesome. Thanks for tuning in,
Great.
Niraj.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and then Harsha says, "Hello, Dean and Soha. Thanks for this session. Much needed. Awesome. Sounds great." So,
Thank you, Harshita.
yeah, so folks, do continue putting in the comments and let me know any questions you have. And again, for those of you who joined in late, I know that this area might be something very private. So if you have a private question you want to ask, send me a private message, and I will read the question, but I won't announce your name when I ask the questions when we get to the Q&A part. So now, so far we've been discussing about the unfortunate tragedy regarding Sushant. Now most of my viewers, like they're primarily those of the viewers tuning in, they're primarily, their situation is they have their job seekers who are unemployed, or maybe
Uh-huh.
they've been laid off recently, or maybe they're
Right.
experiencing other issues as well, right? And obviously
Right.
because of this, and because of this whole pandemic situation with COVID-19, layoffs are happening left and right here in Toronto, and just the market is highly competitive, and with the added pressure, as I mentioned before, having to pay bills,
Right.
more rent, mortgage, food, maybe kids. How do they best take care of their mental health?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say that I understand your situation. Whenever we say that, it's absolutely wrong. I do not understand your situation because it is your situation, because
Mm,
it is you who's fighting it all by yourself. So nobody can actually get into your shoes and understanding what your situation is.
mm,
But I understand that this situation can come across to anybody, because this has become a very, very serious concern amongst us. I know that there is a lot of pressure financially. There is a lot of pressure when it comes to losing your jobs. There is a lot of pressure from the family end. I would suggest you, or I would just quote this, because that's my favorite and I go by it every single day. I have a challenge. It's not that I led a
mm.
very simple and a very dynamic life. I also had gone through a lot of, COVIDs and post COVIDs in my life.
Right.
So this shall pass away. This is the quote I would like to tell you. This shall to pass away. Come back with a little patience. I know it is very difficult because you need to pay your bills. Paying your bills is not that easy.
Mm,
Neither the owners nor the renters, nor anybody whom you owe will wait. I know that. But you need
right.
to make them sit and talk it out. Mindfulness is something I very strongly believe in. I think you should get into, meditating. Meditation, definitely, it is not very easy again. A lot of people say that whenever you meditate, you sit in one particular posture and you're saying, okay, either you're saying Om, or you're saying God, or you're saying Allah, or you're saying Christ, or whatever you're saying, you're sitting in a posture. And then at that point in time, you have 10,000 different thoughts triggering in your head.
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it keeps coming, it keeps pondering, and then you keep thinking, Arey, this is meditation and I should not be thinking about anything. It is
Mm,
absolutely normal. You need to meditate and you will get those thoughts. Those thoughts are coming into you only to get out of you. So this will only
mm,
happen, slowly, step one after the other after the other. So one step a day. I suggest very strongly that you need to probably get into meditation. If you have any attacks, panic attacks, if you're really worried, if you're thinking about everything around you and having very strange thoughts, I very strongly recommend talk it out with your friends or whom you trust. Or if nobody, you
mm.
can talk it out with me. So I'm there
Okay,
to
okay.
hear you.
Okay,
And
awesome, awesome.
apart from that, there are certain points which probably can smoothen your thoughts and get you down, when you're thinking too much and you're in anxiety, or you're overwhelmed or excited about certain things, what you can do is you can just tap 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then you're 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, 1 2 3. So this will help you.
Right.
Or there are exercises. I can give you a lot of exercises. Maybe when we have another, a podcast or video going on, because I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, sure, sure.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. So the points, what are the points? Like you said here, what
you
is
can
it?
go here on the forehead, right in
Right, right.
between your eyebrows, that is your temple area,
Okay,
and then
right
you
there.
can go exactly in the corner of your eyebrows here,
Right.
and
And
then
just tap
on,
it.
yeah, below your eyes, that is your
Right.
cheekbone, and then you
Yeah.
can touch here, that is on your chin, and then above
Right.
your lips. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
if
already,
you,
that feels good though. That feels
yeah,
good.
it does,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And in case you feel that because of anxiety you're not feeling sleepy, then this is the area here in the corner. Just start pressing this, and then automatically you will fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
So instead of
That's amazing. Yeah.
whenever you are depressed, instead of actually going
Yeah.
to the doctors, popping in the pills, do some exercises, which is more into the mindfulness. Don't hurt yourself by taking too many medications. There are
Mm.
alternative ways to it also, that you can probably be very, very normal after that.
Right, right. Yeah. So and thanks for sharing that. So folks, if you're watching that, I mean, try that out. Like that exercise that Soha just shared, and I agree with what you're saying about the pills and stuff. So like I personally I avoid medication and stuff like that as much as possible. I
That's
would
good.
only I only take it if it's like I have to do it, otherwise they throw me in jail or something. In that case I might take, but but other than that, yeah, I try to avoid myself as well. So completely agree with that. So
Great.
in relation to strictly, when we're speaking from, even for those of my viewers who are currently employed and they're experiencing work related stress,
Uh-huh.
so what causes that work, like any idea
Okay.
on what causes that work related stress and depression, and would it be similar strategies in how they handle that?
I think overthinking is actually the biggest, trigger when it comes to the work-related stress.
Right.
I must tell that when you're working, you need to know that stress is very, very inevitable. I mean, it's bound to happen
Mm.
because you have so many commitments around you. There is a lot of expectation out of you, and the stress is bound to happen. So I think that is inevitable. The only thing you can do is start thinking a little less, and you need to understand how should you manage your thoughts. So you need to, I feel like whenever you have work related stress, you need to probably have a time management part. Take a time for taking a lot of stress in your head. So
Mm.
you can ask the stress to, generally what happens is, we it keeps coming in, and then we keep pouring in a lot of thoughts in it. But then if you have a complete 24 hours, then you can give maybe half hour to that thoughts. They will help you probably come out of your stress, even work related. And I'm sure that you have your managers and your peers and people around you who could actually talk it out if in case it's
Yeah.
related to stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think most organizations are very understanding in that sense. Like they understand the role that stress
Right.
plays. So yeah, folks, those of you watching, I mean,
Absolutely.
see what resources your current organization has in doing that. And from what you're saying so far, Soha, and what I'm getting is, and can correct me if I'm wrong, what you're suggesting is don't try to suppress what you're feeling, or this depression or these
Yes.
thoughts, but you have to pretty much kind of confront it. And even with the meditation, you're not trying to suppress your thoughts, you're just letting the thoughts come in and you're letting it pass through. You're not trying to suppress it or keep it down. I feel that's what you're suggesting.
Yes.
Is that accurate? Okay. Okay.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes. I am suggesting you to voice it out, because when you voice it out, see, there are a lot of inner feelings which are fighting with you. There is a chatterbox in you all the time which keeps telling you that do not do this. Maybe people would actually have an opinion upon you. But does it
Hmm.
actually differ, or does it make any difference in one's life that your opinion, anybody else's opinions counts on you? Let their
Yeah.
opinions not become your reality. Talk it out. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's absolutely okay not to be okay. It's absolutely okay not to be okay. And
Yeah.
everybody has their times which are not that positive. So we go through
Hmm.
a lot of trauma in life. No, nobody. I mean, I'm just not talking about myself. I'm also talking about the prophets who had come into this world, had faced a lot of stress and a lot of trauma. I think until you talk it out with anybody, you will never come out of it. So talk it out. That's absolutely okay to talk it out. If you don't find anybody, talk to yourself. Have a mirror talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
in
I
front
love
of the
that.
mirror,
Yeah.
talk it out. Yeah, see, generally what happens is, I mean, I'll give you this example. Try it out for sure. Next time you're
Mm.
under a lot of stress and you're frowning and standing in front of the mirror saying, oh, my life is horrible, it's terrible, nothing is happening, I am not able to get any result. What do I do? How do I, get through it? So do this all in front of the mirror and you'll start realizing that you really look very ugly when you make those prawn expressions with a
Yeah.
frowning, and you will automatically come out of it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got
So
it.
yes.
And I like that phrase you said. What did you say? It's okay to not be okay. Is that what you said?
Yes. It's okay
I
not to
like
be
that.
okay.
It's okay not to be okay. So it's
Yeah.
okay not. I really like that. It's okay not to be okay. Okay, I like this. I really like this. Okay, yeah, very nice one. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the other question I had for you. So and we kind of I think chatted about this before when we spoke on Zoom. But
Uh-huh.
do men and women handle stress and depression and their mental well being differently, and how so?
Absolutely differently. I must admit that men are more sensitive, men are more, emotional than women are. Though
Mm.
women cry it out and show it out, but the men are actually made not to cry, and they are told time and again that you're men, you're boys, and boys do
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
cry. Boys are more
yeah, yeah.
stronger. But then, physically being strong is completely different than emotionally being strong. A woman is emotionally stronger because she's, seeing a lot of things happening around us. So if I have to talk about the study, according to who? WHO,
Mm.
7% of men across the globe tend to have more depression than women, and 74% of men tend to commit suicide or attempt suicide due to depression. So they are bound
Wow.
to, I mean, if you count the rate, it's 74% of men, not women. See, women can cry
Wow.
it out, she can speak it out in the public and in her friends and all, but men actually cannot. They're suffering
Mm.
more, and they are the people who are not able to, come out and talk it out. And I very strongly feel that it's absolutely okay. You're men, you're more stronger, you can come out, you can talk. There is no harm in talking to people around you. And there is no harm if a man cries. He is
Mm.
still stronger.
Okay, I mean, being a a guy myself, I completely agree with that because and especially in like I don't know about other cultures. Like I'm South Asian, like, so I'm my background is Sri Lankan. I mean, it's the same thing. We are
Oh,
encouraged. Yeah, we're encouraged. Don't cry, be tough.
yes,
Big boy. Big boys don't cry, and the men don't.
exactly.
Yeah, like we are basically this. Yeah, exactly. So this is so true. And from the time we're little, we are encouraged not to express emotion
Absolutely. And that's
unless it's
where
like
the problem begins.
yeah, unless it's like happiness or excitement, something like that. But crying and this and that, it's seen as weakness in us, right? I mean, that's what we're pretty much programmed. So I definitely agree that I think women are much more resilient with their emotions, and they're able to confront their
Absolutely.
emotions much better than men. I think men, we really struggle. We don't know how to confront our emotions. So and
You
for
need to,
any
I think all the men there need to work on the spiritual quotient very, very strong, because that makes you more stronger emotionally also. So the spiritual
yeah.
quotient, what it does to a person's body or soul is that it actually makes a hole in the soul.
Interesting.
A
Okay.
spiritual quotient. Yes, it makes the hole in the soul. So I'm sure that, it would probably make you come to this particular part that it's all okay. It's not that you have to always show that you're tough. Because I had seen, my dad, I had seen my uncles, I had seen everybody talking about they are very, very strong, and, they can take all the kind of weightage on their shoulders and carry. But I always feel that it's, I think, either person's role to not only carry weightage, but to talk it out with each other and come out of their problems. A woman's role is also to help support her man to, give her shoulder to him, and then say that, okay, fine, it's okay. Sometimes you can cry on my shoulder too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, okay. Like, no, I really like. I'm really glad you mentioned this, Soha, because it's so true. Like and being a guy, like myself, I walk around like I'm Mister tough guy, but at the same time, I'm actually very sensitive myself, I would say.
Right.
So look,
Yes.
for all the guys watching, I know you might not want to publicly say anything right now in the comments, but look, just pay attention to what Soha said. Like it's okay. Like it's this is
Absolutely.
something that we have to work on as men. Is this whole psychological programming. From the time we're really young not to cry, not to express, these what's called, weak emotions, whatever that means. So that's completely key. And based on the statistics from what Soha is saying, 74% of men who are experiencing depression, they're the ones who commit suicide. So at a higher rate than women. from what you're saying, Soha.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We are tuned in a way right from our childhood that blue is for men and blue is for boys and pink is for
Yeah,
girls.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and so the girls are more sensitive, the girls are more delicate, but that's not the case.
yeah,
We talk about that we should not have gender. I should say we should not different the genders, and then we talk about the equality, we talk about the right, we talk about the fight. So I think even taking the troubles equally of each other, supporting each other for a cause, definitely. And men, I am sure that you are listening to me, and I'm time and again telling you can express your feelings, be open to it. There is nothing
yeah,
to feel shy about it. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Okay, I love that. Yeah, thanks so much for speaking about that, Soha. And I'm sure our male viewers, who might not publicly admit to it, maybe they want to keep it to themselves, but I'm sure they got so much value out of that. So hope all you guys got value out of that. So appreciate that, Soha. See some comments coming in. Hey Mohit, hey Gurpreet, thanks so much for tuning in. And yeah, it's really sad, Gurpreet. So Gurpreet says it's very sad,
Yeah.
which is true. It's a sad
Very-
thing, right?
Yes, it is indeed.
So yeah, absolutely. So and I see some more comments coming in here. So hey, Valerian, thanks so much for your comments. So Valerian says being masculine and feminine are two aspects of being a human being. If you stress on one, you have lived half of your life. Sadhguru.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good quote, Valerian.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
That is
that.
really beautiful quote.
Awesome. And then Balaji, hey Balaji, thanks so much for tuning in. So Balaji says, Soha, you have been bang on, very simple, effective, and strong examples. You have quoted thoroughly, enjoying this. Sounds
Thank you
good.
so
Sounds
much. I'm
good.
honored.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the feedback, Balaji. And again, everyone, shout out to Balaji. Balaji is the one who creates these nice graphics. He's helping me with the graphics, even the one with Soha. So make sure you connect with and
I should,
follow
yeah,
Balaji as well.
I should connect with Balaji for sure.
Yeah,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely connect with Balaji. Yeah, he's a great guy. So now kind of moving forward. Now we've discussed what we can do with ourselves, Soha. Right now,
Yeah.
how about if we know someone and they're displaying these signs of depression, negative mental well-being? I mean, I think that is it a good idea to just go bang on and say, hey, you look bad, or is there some more of a diplomatic approach we should take? How should we help people where we notice that they're showing signs of depression, or like their well-being, mental well-being is not doing that well?
There are some signs which they will certainly show you that they are in depression. The first thing that they will do is they will cut off from being public, from
Mm.
socializing. They will cut off from socializing suddenly, and this will happen suddenly. They are always chirpy, the bubblier ones. The people who smile
Yeah.
the most, I think, carry the most saddest personality inside. So,
Oh
so you need
yes,
to find
you figured me out.
right.
I'm joking. Don't worry. I'm okay,
Yeah.
everyone. I'm okay.
No, but you can always reach out to me. Now
Yeah,
I'm
I know,
always
I know.
available. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So uh, the thing is, they cut out from the people, and they show
Right.
you certain signs like they're not ready to, as I said, they either eat a lot, or they are either sleeping a lot, or they are completely cut off from the social, from networking part of it, and they are just
Yeah.
not social networking, but otherwise networking with people around. So these are
Mm.
some signs you can find out. Or they are always, sad, sitting in a corner, do not want to gel with anybody, and
Mm.
their habits actually suddenly change. Either they are always on the phone, or they are always like, if they are going into the washrooms, they're not coming out early. They're sitting in there for like half hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour. So there are
Yeah.
many signs that you can find out. And I think if you're wanting to reach them out, just sit with them and, maybe have a cup of coffee, or maybe something soft to drink, or maybe a lemon soda, whatever. And then just start a conversation saying, is everything okay? I mean, I find
Mm.
you being away quite some time now. So is this something that I can actually help you with? And be very subtle at it. Don't pound upon them and say, okay, what
Yeah.
happened? There's a lot of difference in you. What happened? Is there something that I can
Yeah.
help you with? Don't do that, because they will absolutely get away from you, and they will never connect with
Yeah.
you after that. So
Yeah.
start in a conversation slowly. Try finding out what is the concern. Say that, is there anything that I can hear you out? Because I'm ready to hear you out. We talk a
Mm.
lot about it, but when a person actually comes to you and starts talking about their problems every single day, because people
Yeah.
with depression happen to time and again message you, or call you, or sit with you and talk to you about their problems or their concerns. So you listen to
Mm.
them, for some time, and after that, it's like you don't want to listen to them. So
Mm.
depression has actually become a silent epidemic, I should say.
Yeah.
That you need to definitely sort it out by talking to people around you. by just checking if they are okay time and again, messaging them and timely calling them and asking their whereabouts, or maybe you can ask for just going out for a walk or a drive. So that will help them, combat depression.
Right. Okay. Okay. So from what you're saying, so one of the key signs that someone is experiencing some kind of depression and stuff is if they start withdrawing. They so before maybe
They
they were
will withdraw.
very social, they're happy and they're always chatting with you. Then suddenly they start withdrawing and
Yes.
pulling back from what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are withdrawals. They are withdrawals, and that's the first sign. You can immediately find a person getting into depression. And withdrawals
Mm.
happen. See, withdrawals are again not permanent. Sometimes withdrawals are temporary. You're depressed because somebody screamed at you. You're
Yeah.
depressed because you did not get something to eat in that point in time. You're depressed because you're not
Ah.
able to
Okay. Okay.
drive out. You're depressed
Right.
because you're sitting for 3 months at home and you're not able to venture out. You're depressed because you're not able to shop what you want. You're depressed because you don't have enough money. So that is periodical, meaning that's just temporary. And there are variants in depressions also. Again, now there is something very serious. Also, there's something which is
Mm.
very mild. There is something which is just temporary, which is time being. Just as I gave you some examples. And then
Yeah.
there are depressions which are again mental depressions. So
Mm.
mental depressions are something which is very, very strong, and that's when we need to intervene. Like the people who are mental health advisors intervene. So yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Okay. So and the other thing, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. And and what I was gonna mention something now, it slipped my mind, but it was something very interesting that you mentioned. So
yeah,
hopefully I will get around to it. But okay, and so the first sign is they start withdrawing and all of that. Second thing you
correct,
mentioned, so is you don't want to go take the aggressive approach to help them. You don't want to suddenly
correct,
barge in and do it. You had to take a more slower diplomatic approach so that they don't feel like you're pushing them into a corner as well.
absolutely.
Okay. Okay, sounds
And
good. All right.
another tip I would like to give it to the people who are actually fighting it and trying to combat it by themselves without reaching out to anybody is when you feel depressed, whether it is time being or it is a long term depression or it is a mental disability or maybe it is a challenge, then you can, maybe take two pieces of dark chocolates,
Ah.
or yeah, whenever you are feeling that way. Or if you don't feel like having chocolates and you like eating fruits, then you can take a banana in the morning. Or if you feel like even banana is not helping, then you can take some cinnamon tea. That will help you combat it very strongly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I remembered what I was gonna say. So you mentioned that there's the day to day little depression here and there when things don't go your way and this and that, but the
Yes.
serious kind is when it's consistent and you keep in this state of depression, and that's when you start withdrawing. So would you say, so Soha, is this, so when we're trying to help others, like we should we be looking for these long term kind of things, or like I guess how do you draw that line? Like how do people draw the line?
When you listen to their stories, what will happen is
Yeah,
generally
yeah.
when you time and again come back, because if they feel that comfort zone with you, they will certainly come
Right.
back to you in discussing it out. In their discussion, you need to understand whether the history is the family history or it is just happening because of that situation. So when they talk about
Mm.
the situation, then it is only situational. So you just need to listen to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The entire thing you need to do is just listen and do not suggest. Do not
Hmm.
suggest. Maybe you can
Yeah,
order for a chocolate coffee with them, or maybe
yeah.
hot chocolate to them, and then offer them that, and that would actually do the magic.
Okay,
Don't say
okay,
that
awesome.
I'm there, I will listen, I will hold you. They don't have to do that because it's just temporary. So you're
Yeah,
making them
yeah.
feel even more worse. But if it is actually related to the family, for in case, I mean, this is happening in the family, that the family is time and again triggering your negative things than actually talking about any positive stuff. Like there is a lot of comparison happening in and around, and then you feel that okay, fine, the depression is actually from the family, and then there is somebody in the family also is not very happy in
Hmm.
as a person. So that can actually be a long time depression because this is actually coming from the family, from the hereditary, and yeah, that's quite an alarm. And then there's some professional has to get into the picture. Yeah. But other than that, I think nowadays, the depressions are because of whatever is happening around us. Corona or COVID-19 had actually taken a huge leap in everybody's life, and everybody is
Yes.
really struggling to, yeah, as I said, come out of that particular situation. So I'm sure that, listening to them, giving them an ear, helping them with your hand in their hand, and holding them and saying, hey, you know what, we are there and we will always support you, or listen to whatever you need be, and help them in whichever cause you can. whichever cause you can. It could be financial, it could be mental, it could be listening to them, it could be sitting with them, it could be calling them home, offering them some dinner or maybe coffee or tea.
Mm.
Please do it.
Yeah, yeah. And from what you're saying, so just listen. Like, don't try to even, don't interrupt them. Don't try to give your suggestion. And I think this
Do
is
not.
something a lot of us struggle with, because of course we ask, okay, how are you doing? Is everything okay? And then they start telling, and then we start giving our own suggestions and saying, oh, you shouldn't let that happen, or this and that. So we
Exactly.
should,
You
yeah. So
can
we
come out
should,
of it, you can fight it. Come on, we can
yeah,
do it. No,
yeah, yeah,
nothing is going
yeah,
to
yeah.
help. In fact, they're going to feel even more miserable because you're making them more miserable. So just listen to
Right.
them and just be quiet. Do not discuss their problems with anybody else also,
Hmm.
because they are completely relying and believing and trusting in you. You cannot break their trust.
Right, right.
So I think without judging them personally, you've got to listen to them, and that's the key. Don't judge.
Okay, love that. I love that. So basically, just hear them out. Don't try and interrupt them. Don't try and give your suggestions. Just be quiet. Let them talk. Let them vent, and
Yes,
then no judgments. No judgments. No
not at all.
talking
Not
about
at all.
them. Okay, okay, okay. Very good. Excellent. I know. I love this. And we have some comments here. So
Okay.
Valerian says, I love chocolates." Okay.
Yeah, I love chocolates
Okay.
too. Everybody does. Mostly, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for that comment, Valerian. Ravi says, Ravi has some feedback here. Ravi says, Soha, wonderfully put. It's very comforting. Sounds good,
Thank you
Ravi.
so much.
Awesome. Sounds good, Ravi. And Gurpreet has some feedback as well. So, where's this? So, Gurpreet says, so many people struggle in silence, especially men. Yeah, yeah, that's what
You need
exactly
to
what
be
we
their
were.
voice.
Yeah.
We women, Gurpreet, I think can always go back. I'm sure, Gurpreet, you must be, working with a lot of men around you. I think you can tell them that it's okay to, coming out of their comfort zone and talking it out with you. So it's very comforting when they are silent and when they are alone, because they feel that if they talk it out with anybody, there would be a laughter stuff. People would laugh around them. But then you can always tell them that you're there to hear them out, and they can actually share their views, and they can come out of their comfort zone and just be a part like anybody else. Be human, be natural.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and thanks so much, Soha. And yeah, Gurpreet, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. Absolutely agree with you. So, Soha, before we get into the Q&A, can you please tell everyone, how the viewers can connect with you? Like, which social media channels are you active? Where can they see your advice, your tips, your coaching stuff, YouTube, or like, can you tell the viewers more how they can best connect with you?
Um, I'm on LinkedIn in the name of Soha Juneja at linkedin.com. I am on Facebook in the same name, Soha Juneja. And of course, I was running YouTube channel. I would very soon, reform the YouTube channel, because I've
Mm,
always believed in you rejuvenating my ideology in different ways. I was
right.
actually into motivation some time back, so it's been a sabbatical. I've taken a break for a year from YouTube, but I'm redoing it now, and I'm sure that we can connect through YouTube also. We can also connect through the Messenger, Facebook. We can connect through LinkedIn. We can connect through Dean, and
Yes,
Dean has
absolutely.
my number. Dean has my details, so you can always contact me. My number, I'm available also on my number. I'm on WhatsApp. I will very soon start a Telegram, on chat, because I'm planning to take another number. So that also will be displayed on my LinkedIn ID. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, amazing. Yeah, so folks, so Soha is very open to connecting with everyone. She's very communicative, and
Anybody who
she
feels they need my help, they need to talk it out with me, they need some tips to come out of or combat this particular problem or concern for your friends also, you can
Mhm.
anytime connect to me. I'm available 24 by 7 for helping and giving the supporting hand, because Indians, yeah, as I said, I represent India, and I very strongly feel that we have this particular feeling that you are human and you need to connect with people very, very strongly, and when you connect to people is when the connection happens.
Mhm. Absolutely, yeah, love that, Soha, and thanks so much for your openness to helping the viewers out. So, folks,
Thank
feel free to connect with Soha. She's very, very open to connecting and communicating with everyone. So make sure you do that. So, without further ado, Soha, let's get into the Q&A, because I do have see a lot of questions here in the comments.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so let me just quickly scroll through. So, let's see here. So I'll pick. So some of these questions have already been answered by Soha. So let
uh-huh.
me just go through which ones. So I just have a comment here from Nikhil. Nikhil made a great comment here. Nikhil says, "That's why I'm working part time to keep myself occupied. Doesn't matter what work I'm doing, but it's so important to stay engaged and occupied. Empty mind is a devil's workshop."
Nikhil, but I would also suggest you that please have a me time. It's very important that you need to
Mhm.
take time for yourself too. It's not always about keeping yourself occupied. I appreciate what you're doing, that you're keeping yourself occupied. But then, apart from that, I want you to take a little me time because every life matters. And I'm sure that when you take that me time, you will actually know your worth more than being busy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for that, Soha. And yeah, Nikhil, thanks for your comment. I appreciate that. So let's see here. More questions. Uh, yeah. So I have a question from Balaji. So Balaji says, a lot of people who are attention seekers come out and say they are depressed, but they are actually not. Do you come across people like that? And how do you handle those people and situations?
Well, I must say this that we think that these people are attention seekers, but that's not the reality. They are
Mhm.
actually trying to find ways to, come out of their problems. It's not about it. Maybe they are missing that attention at home, or maybe they are missing it with their own people. And that's the reason they are trying to seek attention with you. So help them, support them. It's not that they are just acting. Sometimes it might be the reality. Maybe we are gauging them differently. As I likely said, do not judge.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. No, 100% agree. So, and you know what? I think different people have different ways of asking for help, right? I mean, some people they
Yes.
might just say, "Hey, Soha, I need your help." Other people might do things to get your attention because they don't want to ask you. So they're doing things to make you notice, so that hoping that someone will reach out and connect with them. So that I completely agree with you, Soha. So Balaji, yeah, keep that in mind. And you know what, folks? We have nothing to lose by just giving a few minutes of our time to pay attention to people. Let's say, what if they're not just doing it for attention, right? And then what if
No,
something
if
happens?
that is the case that somebody is trying to do it also for attention, that means they are
Yeah,
seeking attention from you. So give them a
yeah,
little time. There is no harm.
yeah, exactly. No harm, right? It doesn't cost you anything, and you have nothing to lose. So that would be my thoughts. But yeah, thanks, Balaji, for your question. Gurpreet made a comment here. She said, "So true. I do that too. Always acting strong and that I can do it." So I think this is going back to what we said before, where we try and act tough on the outside, but on the inside, it's a different story. So yeah, great comment.
Everybody has a story. Everyone lives with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's hear. Uh, so we kind of have already answered this question, Soha, but I'm still going to put it up. So Deepthi says, how to deal with layoff depression? Keeping busy is one thing, but feeling like a failure is another. Anything you want to add to that, Soha? I know you might have already answered how to deal with it, but any
I
additional
will
thoughts?
still answer. I would love to answer to Dipti. Dipti, I agree with you. You know that failure is really, really very challenging, and it is not easy to come out of failure because nobody loves failure. Who wants to fail in life? Everybody wants to be a success story, but then every success story definitely comes and starts with failure. You
Hmm.
know, failure is just an event. It is not a person.
Yeah.
It is just an event. It is not a person. So you're failing in an event. You're not failing in person. So it's all here. You know, it's all about how do you perceive things in your mind. And failing is not that you will fall. It's like, I've heard of a Chinese proverb which is very, very beautiful, which says, fall 7 times and get up eight.
Ah, yes, I love that one.
Yes. So whenever you're falling, whenever you're failing, you need to restart your life again. I know it is easier said than done, but trust me, I'm a living example myself. All through my life, I failed so many times. I wanted to be a success story, but then I ended up being a failure. But today, I probably am coming out of it, and I'm trying to, fight it back very, very strongly. And I think, without which I wouldn't have been what I am today. So failure is a part of your life. Take it very, very in a very healthy way, because when you're failing is when you know you will succeed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks so much, Soha. And Deepthi, I hope that answers your question. I think that's some great advice that Soha shared. So, again, thank you, Soha, and thanks for your question, Deepthi. Let's see what else. Yeah. So now I do have some private questions. So I'm going to go to the private questions, folks. But
All right.
if anyone has any public questions they want to ask, feel free to put it in the comments. I So we actually have a comment from Ravi. So Ravi says there is a powerful quote from Soha. Forget all the reasons why it won't work. Believe in one reason which will work. It's in Google. It's inspiring. I love that quote. I completely agree with
Thank you,
that because
Ravindra. Thank you so much.
yeah, that's a great quote, Ravi. Thanks for sharing that, and I completely agree with that. Instead of thinking of the reasons why something won't happen, think about at least one reason why it will work. I love that quote. So thanks for that, Soha, and thanks for sharing that, Ravi. So I'm going to do the private questions, folks. So again, if you have a private question, I won't announce your name, but I'm gonna go through. I have a couple of questions here. So I have a question from a viewer, and they are asking. I wanted to ask how to improve confidence and leave anxiety behind during my interviews or any discussion that might be like yearly company reviews. Anything you can add to that, Soha?
I would love to add to that. I must tell that, interviews are a part of life. They are not our lives. They are just a
Hmm.
part of our life. Interview is what? Viewing your inner self, just being yourself. I know there is a lot of anxiety when you're attending interviews because you're again scared to fail. So when you come out of your
Hmm.
comfort zone again, I'm time and again talking about the comfort zone because we all live in that. We all want to pass. We all want to get through the failures of life. We all want to get out of the anxiety which we are actually facing. But what will happen if you do not get through interview? You'll get another opportunity, and there
Hmm.
are a lot of opportunities around us. You just need to view them. You just need to take every opportunity as an opportunity. The doors are opening for you, so take it as it comes. Do not think too much. Do not overthink about the interview, because if you overthink is when you actually make a mistake. Be yourself
Hmm.
in an interview. The HR is listening to you, and trust me, people need people, whether it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
organization, whether
Yeah.
it is outside the organization, whether it is personal, whether it is professional. Everybody needs a person who is actually quite capable of performing. And I'm sure you're a performer. You might get that anxiety at that point in time, but believe in yourself. Just go and be your natural self. Whatever happens, again, leave it to God, because he's a decision maker.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. And for the person who asked the question, I hope that helps. But from what Soha's saying, just keep be yourself, be who you are, because at the end, ultimately, the organization is looking for people, right? And I completely agree with that. So I have another
What
question,
has to
Soha,
come
from
on your way
yeah.
will come to you. Do not worry. You just need to work hard. Keep pushing yourself hard.
Awesome, awesome. Love that, love that. So again, thanks for the person who asked the question. Hope that helps. Now another question I had, Soha, is someone is asking, how do you deal with your life when you've been laid off, when so much of your life was defined by the work you were doing?
Um, I know it is a very, very tough time for you to, just be as normal you were, because everything changes. There are so many commitments around us when we are working that we've actually taken. And now those commitments have to be filled, which cannot be filled because of the layoff. But then I
Hmm.
think you need to just hope, and you need to keep trying that you get better opportunities and better. See, I'll tell you what, every single day, I very strongly believe that we humans do the same thing, expecting different results.
Hmm.
So if you change a little of your routine, things will come to you. I'm sure you must be doing it, but then this time do it from somebody else's view. Because sometimes
Right.
when you don't believe in yourself, you should believe in the people who believe in you, and that keeps you going.
Great, great. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Soha. So hope who the person who answered that question. I hope that helps. And I have another question here, Soha.
Okay.
So this person is asking, so the question is, and they're saying, I pretty much strongly feel after having multiple episodes of depression that it's not temporary, but more of a serious one due to early childhood trauma and family issues. I have struggled to make people understand my situation, including my family in India, and despite not willing to, have been on medications for a long time. Just want to ask, I may not be able to beat depression in my life, but how can I better manage it and stay happy as much as I can?
You need to connect with me personally on that. Apart from that, I will also give you a tip. I know you are already taking medication, so medications coming out of it now, it's very difficult, but it is not impossible. I'll tell you something. Take one step a day, which will help you come out of this problem. For example, if you're waking up in the morning, start your day by bathing from your feet, not from your head or shoulders. Generally, we have the habit, we take, or we showered straight getting into the shower, bathing. Do not do that. Start bathing from your feet, as I said. Take hot water baths. Do not bathe with cold water at all. No cold water showers. Take hot water bath, because that combats depression up to some limit. Up to some limit. As I said, pop in few dark chocolates whenever you feel that you are fighting with depression. Is there anything that I could do about it? On my personal note, you can take my number from Dean. Dean will give you my number and we can connect. We shall connect personally. You can share your concerns with me. I would not call it your problem because I know what you're facing. I probably am with you on it because I have also undergone depression. There were times that I tried, uh, going really negative in life. There were times that I also did not want to live, but there was always a reason to come back. There was always a reason to come back. I'm sure you also have a reason. And if you don't find one, I'm certain that there are a lot of people who really love you, just that they're not able to understand what your problem is. So if I could be of any support and help, please do come back to me. Meditation is something which you could do. It will help you big time. So do meditate for some time every single day. Start with 1 minute, start with 2 minutes, and let's see how does it actually help you. And please do contact me on my personal number.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. Soha. So to the person who asked that question, so after this session is done, I'm going to send you Soha's LinkedIn profile as well as her number, and please do connect with her because it's definitely it's something that requires a further conversation from the looks of it. So thank you for your question. I hope that helps. But I'm gonna be sending you Soha's information after. All right. So don't go through this alone.
We are
Now
there.
the
We are
next
there. We all are there for you. Do not
yeah.
have to worry about it at all. We can listen to you for hours together without getting tired and without judging you.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. So to the person who sent me that message, I'm gonna send that information to you shortly. All right, but thanks for your question. And let's see here. I'm just looking there. I have some other private questions as well, Soha. So just bear with me until I go through this.
That's absolutely fine.
Uh,
Absolutely. Take your time.
let's see here. So okay, so that one was okay. So I you have kind of answered this, Soha, but I think this is kind of a different angle for this question. But this person is asking, my question for Soha is, how do you deal with stress after the interview when you face the rejection and anxiety until you know the interview result? Anything you want to add to that as well?
I would start with this quote: "Reject the rejections."
Nice. Okay.
So, after you're done with your interview and you're actually very much stressed, you're awaiting the results, then I think the results are yet to come. And in case you're rejected in that interview, always think that there is another opportunity, maybe a better opportunity. When something good doesn't happen to you, something great is bound to happen to you.
Mm.
So I think the patience is the key. You need to hold back. I know there are a lot of, as you know, I'm time and again saying this, that there are a lot of commitments that we are into, but then if you keep taking a lot of stress, what would happen? Would you actually get the solution out of it?
Mm.
In fact, you're troubling yourself. You're stressing yourself, and that can trigger to many other problems. Stress is not the, you stress can get you diabetes, stress can get you BP problems, stress can give you issues with your lungs, your digestive system, your gut, and there are so
Yeah.
many other problems coming in with it. So I know, stress is something which is there with everybody, even me for that point, in that matter. Even I get stressed a lot of times when I have meetings happening back to back. I'm not able to zoom in time, and so I take stress, but that's just for that particular moment. So, and then
Mm.
you're again, calming yourself, you're talking to yourself. As I said, mirror exercise is the best exercise. Talk to yourself, have a dialogue with yourself. And when you probably give yourself a little time, as I said, me time, if you are not getting through, it's not failing. As I said, failing is just an event.
Mm.
You're not failing. In the interview, you have just probably could not, you have just uh, maybe I can say you have not maybe been your 100%, or maybe the person who did not had taken your interview was not very clear about your views on it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you will definitely get another opportunity. As I said, there are a lot of opportunities out there, and now, though, in fact, there is so much of dignity in labor. People are definitely looking out for people and in search of good people. So I'm sure you'll get a lot of opportunities if you miss one.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you so much, Soha. And for the person who answered the question, thanks for your question. I hope that helps you out. So looks like that's it for questions right now. And if anyone else have any questions or not, let me know. But folks, if you got a lot of value out of this, please put it in the comments. Let Soha know. Give her your feedback. because she has given us her time to join us and tune in with us live. So
Thank
let
you
us
so
know
much.
in the comments. Yeah, let us know in the comments your feedback. Did you get a lot of value out of this? Also, do you want Soha to come? Like, let me know if you want me to bring Soha back, because I would definitely love to do this, because this is a very important topic, because it affects all of us, right? Like, no one
Thank you,
is.
Dean. I'm honored.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So, and I'm glad that we got in touch. So let us know your feedback,
Absolutely.
folks, in the comments. And other than that, Soha, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. Do you have
Yes.
any closing words, or words of inspiration for the viewers who might be going through some things right now?
I would just say it in very short. Blessings are on your way. So stay blessed. Always. Be happy. Do not let any sadness come over you. We are always there to hear you out. And as I said, I've given all my details already. So do connect and be blessed. Blessings are on your way. Be happy and merry all the time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Soha. And I see some positive feedback coming in. So I'm just going to show you a few just before we log off. So Ritika says a great session and a good start to the day. Awesome. That
Thank
sounds
you,
great.
Ritika. Stay blessed.
Yeah. And then we got Jennifer. Jennifer says, Soha and Dean, thank you so much. Would love to see this type of open talk again. Awesome, Jennifer.
Great.
Thanks so much for your feedback.
Thank you,
Uh,
Jennifer. Thank you so much.
that's awesome feedback. So yeah, so folks, I'll definitely love to bring Soha back,
Thank you.
and then continue talking about this topic, right? Because it's an important one. But without further ado, Soha, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate
Thank
everything you shared, and I'm very appreciative of how opening you are to connecting with and helping everyone. So really appreciate that, and I look forward to having you again in the future on the show.
Sure. Definitely. I would be honored to be a part once again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Soha. And look, Balaji is actually saying, Dean, you should do this show every month. So maybe
We are
maybe
open. We are open. We can.
yeah. So maybe we can do this more often. We got Navia says thanks, Soha and Dean.
Thank
So a
you,
lot of
Navya.
positive feedback.
Much love. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay, so folks, thank you so much for those of you who tuned in and viewed this. I hope all of you got great information about this. Thank you for those of you who asked questions, for those of you who sent private messages, and especially for the person who sent the private message that Soha recommended to connect. I will pass on her information to you. And folks, stay positive. Let's stay positive. Let's keep going, because we have a lot to live for, right? All of us have a lot to live for. And let's keep living, and let's keep sharing our gifts with everyone else, with society, with the world, and with the universe, right? All right, so everybody stay positive, and everyone have a wonderful day. And again, thank you, Soha, and we'll all connect again soon. All right.
Thank you so much. Bye bye, everybody. Thank you.